folks. Why Would You Ask That is a podcast that answers some of the weirdest questions. A lot of those are inappropriate for some listeners. If you're squeamish, easily disturbed, or just having a bad day, this may not be for you. But if you've got to know the answers like we do, stay tuned.
Why Would You Ask That? Presented by me, M, they, them, and
Karen, she, her, and
Remy, he, they.
And today we have a listener question. I'm so excited. From Billy, they ask, has there ever been a cannibal that has consumed the flesh of a person with red hair? If so, did they note a difference in taste? Are red-haired people's flesh more toxic to eat than, say, a blonde or a brunette? This is based off the fact that bright colors are warning signs in nature that the bright-colored object is toxic in some way.
I can see the logic behind this.
Absolutely. It's logical to eat your friends. Karen, I've been raising you like some Wagyu beef.
Just
waiting.
Be filled to the brim with nothing but succulence.
Yes.
Like the cactus.
Oh, beautiful. Juicy.
Prickly. But in like a soft way. I imagine it's something like, okay, so tree frogs, obviously. It's not so... I wonder if it... Do tree frogs taste different, depending on their poison level? I mean, I imagine they must. They probably taste way more acidic. But they're actually poisonous. Redheads are not poisonous, right?
I would hope not, because otherwise, a lot of people would go to the hospital after blowjobs. A lot more than do currently.
And I don't think that it depends so much on the color of the hair, so much as the acidity of your skin. Like you have very acidic skin. I myself also have acidic skin. I have melted my glasses once or twice.
I melt my glasses and my tooth enamel.
Mm-hmm.
So Remy, what does research say?
You melt your teeth. Okay, I knew about the glasses. You melt your teeth enamel?
Yes. Apparently my spit is very acidic. I have a very high pH.
I think if another friend of mine has that too, actually.
So my teeth are more prone to cavities and things like that because it just wears away so easily. It may be from all the vinegar.
All the vinegar?
Oh yeah, all the vinegar.
Remy, they're Filipino.
That doesn't explain it.
They use a lot of vinegar in their food. What can I tell you?
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least I grew up with it. I mean, adobo is literally soy sauce and vinegar made into a sauce.
Okay.
Yeah, and my brother and I, we used to just pour vinegar over our rice and meat to eat. I still do it sometimes.
It might not be a Filipino thing. It might be an M thing. I shouldn't make broad assumptions. It's just,
To be fair, I haven't actually eaten with a lot of other Filipinos, but also to be fair, other people put vinegar on things. Like, have you ever put vinegar on fries?
Yes, but I don't like it.
That's a thing. Oh, I love it.
Well, salt and vinegar chips exist.
I do like those.
They're so good. And I used to go to a fish and chips place when I lived in Canada. Oh, they would offer malt vinegar all the time. And then, there's the lemons. I just love acidic things. Therefore, I melt my glasses and I have acidic spit. But, how many people have redheads poisoned?
Didn't...
How many cannibals?
I didn't specifically look that up. But I can specifically look that question up if you want.
Yeah. We're here to learn.
How else are we going to know?
Exactly. This is like, with poison dart frogs, they just, like, kind of rub the darts on the frogs. Like, can I do that with somebody with red hair?
The reason that I can't specifically tell you what redheads taste like is because everybody can have red hair. Anybody of any skin color can have red hair. So there are, like, obviously people who have white skin tones, it's more common for them to develop red hair, but people who have black and brown skin tones can also have naturally red hair. So red hair can be dispersed over literally any culture in the entirety of the world. And so...
Oh, good. A larger sample size.
Yeah, so it's a huge sample size. Now, I can tell you that cannibals have given interviews about how different people from different cultures taste different. So I think it matters to the cannibal more where you're coming from and not what color your hair is. So I know that if you're a redhead from America, from the United States, for example, you taste like pork, which obviously, but I think I remember reading that the cannibals who have been interviewed from the other side of the world said that people from over there are sweeter than they are from over here in the United States.
Oh, so it's like a nature versus nurture thing. It's how you raise the meat.
Like how I will taste like a big, juicy pork belly.
And I will taste like vinegar.
Exactly.
I'm reopening the article.
Excuse me, Remy, what would you taste like? You never answered this.
Oh, sorry. I'm from here, so I'll just taste like pork.
Oh, come on.
But I was also raised in a household where two people just chain smoked nonstop. But also, if they weren't smoking a cigarette, they were smoking weed. So I don't really know how that would have affected the taste of my meat.
You'll taste like smoked pork.
Smoked pork, yeah.
Do you think they've done that yet?
Probably. I can't imagine they wouldn't. They have a cooking show about cooking with weed, so I imagine they must.
Well, most people just bake it.
No, you can use it in all sorts of recipes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what the show is about. It's about cooking with weed.
Oh. I'm never gonna do it, but,
Yeah, people use the oil. People use it as, not usually as a garnish, but they use it in all sorts of things. Yeah, it has a lot of uses.
Oh, so cook your human with some weed.
Maybe if you like the taste. Okay, so hair color does not necessarily denote a poisonous meat, I suppose.
At least no cannibals have weighed in on it about that aspect. But redheaded people do have differences in the way that their body does health stuff.
Wait, what? Really?
Yes, really.
Oh, yeah.
Redheaded people's body processes medications differently, feels pain differently, just catches sicknesses differently. Redheaded people's bodies do literally do things differently than other hair-colored people's bodies.
I've never had red hair.
Yeah, they asked, when I had red hair and I went to the doctor, they asked if I was naturally redheaded. And I was like, oh yeah, no. It was a guy doctor, because I think the girl doctor didn't ask, because she could tell.
Okay, so today, that's the question. It's wild. So, this question. So I had to break this down in stages. Don't get me wrong. I love this crazy question. It takes us back to our early days.
It's so good! Oh my god. It's everything I ever wanted.
This is why you listeners need to be sending in questions.
Because we will take them so seriously. Like, okay, I don't want to discount the hypothesis. However, I do have to bring up the subject of just because you look different doesn't mean you taste different.
Yes.
Are peacocks any good? Do they taste not as good as, say chicken or any other sort of fowl? And no, it says they taste like chicken. The internet's weighed in. They said peacock tastes like chicken. And I'm like, yep, you see, you dress it up, make it look different, make it pretty, fancy, still tastes like chicken.
Now, you only went for peacocks, though. What about fucking I don't know how to pronounce this bird.
Ostrich?
What? No, ostrich is delicious. The hooded pitohui.
The who?
It's a poisonous bird.
Show me a picture of the bird.
Yes, hold on.
Gonna be putting that in our resource page.
Bright orange.
Oh. Well, okay. See, how do I explain that chicken is different from flying bird?
Peacocks can also fly.
But peacocks can't fly very
I
far.
don't think chickens can fly very far either.
Exactly.
Alright, hold on. Let me hit you with another one. I gotta check on the coloring of the spore-winged goose.
Goose is not chicken.
You are changing the qualifications here.
All right.
It's an edible bird.
It is an edible bird.
And it is poisonous.
What is it?
It's the spore-winged goose.
It's poisonous.
I'm like pulling up academic papers about all these fucking the North American ruffed grouse, the European quail, European hoopos, and wood hoopos, and brush bronzewings.
Now, you're bringing up a very excellent point in that these are all different types of the same type of bird. However, evolutionarily speaking, they are different species, aren't they? Whereas humans are all the same species, and that is fact.
Why are you coming out with fucking peacocks then, huh?
I don't know. I was just like, do peacocks taste like chicken?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. I was like, are peacocks poisonous?
No.
They are not.
But I've just given you a whole list of poisonous birds.
You've just given me a list of a bunch of poisonous birds, so it's like, so the argument is just a full stop, because you can't compare birds that are different species to people who are all the same species. They just look different.
It all comes down to diet, which also is expounded upon by the birds as well, because the quail are only poisonous during part of the year.
What?
Yes.
What part of the year?
Migration, because they eat toxic plants.
This begs the question. If I eat a lot, and I mean a lot, of peanut butter, and a cannibal eats me, but oops, turns out the cannibal has a peanut allergy, well, the cannibal could get sick.
I mean, would somebody with a pollen allergy get sick if they eat cow that has eaten a lot of flowers? I'm not really sure what it is exactly that sets people with nut allergies off. I don't know a lot about that.
I mean, for some people, it's the smell. Like, it's the molecules in the air. Well,
yeah.
What if he's got a really bad peanut allergy?
You know, maybe he shouldn't be eating you if you're filled with peanuts.
Oh my god, he served me at the table, and one guy goes, excuse me, did she eat nuts? And the whole table just goes, hey.
Like, I think it would depend on just the sheer amount that you eat.
And then they show like a little picture of me on the menu. It's like, oh yes, it does say that she contains nuts. So I'm so sorry.
It contains nuts. Oh, I bet she does.
I want it to be a really cute picture, like
yeah, be holding a big peanut.
I love it. Okay. All right. So, yeah, where were we on? I mean, obviously, like redheads are not a separate species of human. They're simply a different color or flavor, if you will.
Oh.
Does that affect their actual flavor? We don't know.
Or is it like M&Ms?
That depends on their. Yeah, we're all just M&Ms.
Okay, so the question is great. Obviously, I needed to break it down into some sections because otherwise the answer is just no. Obviously, redheads are not toxic. So right out the gate, I'm just going to say no, redheads aren't toxic. Obviously, no human species, as far as I'm aware, is toxic to eat. But
Wait. You said that like there's more than one human species.
I did, didn't I?
Yes. Now I'm concerned.
No humans, as far as I'm aware, are toxic to eat.
Okay. Just to be clear, there aren't more than one human species?
Not as far as I know.
That I just don't know about?
Well, you know what? Actually, there was one lady that I can think of off the top of my head who, if you had eaten her, would have killed you. But that's for a different episode.
What? Is it because she stabbed you first?
No, it's because she herself was toxic.
Oh!
I believe it.
But I'm not, and this is also discrediting, obviously, people who have been exposed to, like, radiation. Those people, like the Chernobyl people, would have been toxic to eat. And, like, when the Gulf oil spill happened, the BP Gulf oil spill, the surfactant that they used to quote-unquote clean up the oil, because the oil is still in the Gulf, it's just not visible to the naked eye anymore. But that's just a thing to be angry about. But the surfactant that they used also caused extreme, basically, radiation damage to the people who were exposed to it, and those people are toxic to eat.
Damn.
Like, the level of horrendous stuff that happened to the people who were exposed to that stuff is, like, not on par with the stuff that happened to the people exposed to the Chernobyl radiation, but it is incredibly, horrendously bad for humans to come in contact with it. And they were airdropping it out of planes onto people in fishing boats.
What the fuck?
And BP knew it was toxic to humans to come in contact with it and to breathe it. And they said they didn't care. So...
Of course they don't.
So listening to the stuff that happened to those people was pretty horrendous. And it never leaves your body because your body can't break it down because it kills your kidneys.
Oh.
So your body can't make it go away. So, like, those people are all toxic to eat. And they pass on genetic mutations to their children because that's something that that chemical does. So any children that those people had are genetically different, genetically mutated because of the chemical in their systems. So those people's children would be toxic to eat, probably a little bit. They can't be very nice to eat for a cannibal, since we're speculating. But redheads in general, not toxic to eat.
Yeah.
A little bit of a downer.
Well, there goes their natural defense system.
A little bit of a downer there. Sorry. But...
I mean, it needed to be said. Like, shit, imagine being a cannibal and you have and
you have to ethically source your meat? God.
Anybody in Flint, Michigan or Detroit, those people are probably all toxic to eat. They've been consuming a lot of lead.
I'm still mad that Flint has not been resolved.
Yeah, I just listened to a podcast episode about the lead situation in Flint and how long it's been going on, and it's a lot longer than I thought it has been. And it made me really angry.
What's the current count, man?
It was like 10 years as of 2016 or something.
Yeah, we're almost to 2026, so not great. And also those people in Ohio right now, where the train derailed. I mean, pretty much anybody in Ohio at this point.
Yeah.
Because there were 2 train derailments. That's insane! 2! Within a matter of months!
After, like, they stopped doing, like, certain safety things.
They cut corners on safety precautions and regular repairs, and, like, the workers said that this is not safe, we do not feel safe, and then there you go. They were ignored. Yeah, at this point, I'm like, I mean, were the French onto something?
Yes.
They're crazy, but I think they were onto something.
Let's eat them. I'm sure they're not poisonous. They've been fed like foie gras.
Want to talk about Wagyu? There you go.
Alright, y'all, I'm about to become a cannibal! I'll let you know.
I don't know. They probably taste like copper.
We had this discussion. I love pennies.
I do. Yeah, you do love the taste of pennies.
I don't eat them anymore, but you know, can't talk me out of it now.
Eat the rich. All right. So, nothing to do about being redheaded. everything to do with your environment, whether or not you are poisonous. I'm not sure that Billy anticipated we would be getting into a discussion on,
We do it like every episode. Come on.
the toxicity of the water in Flint when asking about redheads.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to talk about weird stuff, but I'm also
gonna bring the facts.
This was a good opportunity to mention if cannibals are going to be poisoned by eating anybody, it's going to be these populations of people. Everybody go look into these travesties that are happening right now. But this isn't the episode to talk about.
Where we are literally poisonous.
This isn't the episode to talk about that, but there's literally like a fourth of our country that's literally toxic to consume right now if you're a cannibal.
Yeah. It's gross.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Consume ethically.
But if you're not a cannibal, that does affect all of the animals and plants too, so you should look into those travesties that are happening. And anyway, back to the topic. The first thing that I'm going to talk about then is just the bright colors. In the natural world, when an animal is brightly colored, it usually means it's dangerous. So Billy's asking why animals have developed that defensive technique and why in humans we don't see the same thing, basically. And then also went on to ask if because redheads have developed brightly colored, quote-unquote, fur, because our hair is just fur, are they toxic, ? So, let's talk about animal brightly colored, poisonous nature stuff.
Yeah, let's hit it.
Well, I looked this up because y'all were talking about peacocks and chickens and how they taste similar and whatever. Now, to give you an actual comparison, though, a regular frog. Have you eaten a regular frog?
Yes.
I think I tried a bite of one once.
They kind of taste like fish.
Yeah, they kind of taste a little bit like fish. Yeah, I Googled it to make sure I was not misremembering, but every place that I looked said that regular frog legs taste a little bit like chicken and fish. Like a mixture of chicken and whitefish. And I was like, that's probably fair. I kind of remember that they tasted like it was uneventful to eat the frog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That it didn't have any special flavor.
I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, wow, this is just like, this tastes normal.
Yeah.
It's got good meat.
Yeah. So a little bit like fish. So comparing it to another frog, the poison dart frog, I can tell you what that tastes like. So you can actually get a comparison between a poisoned version of the same species.
Yeah. Okay. Hit me.
Okay. So a poison dart frog has a mild flavor with hints of citrus or earthy notes, depending on the species.
Okay.
How did they get the poison out in order to eat it?
I was reading this, and it says that people in South America who do eat certain types of poison dart frogs as part of their traditional diet, they just take the poison dart frog and they fry them.
Oh, okay. So it's like their own seasoning.
Yeah, I guess so. Some types of poison dart frogs, their poison is such that it could kill a human, and a lot of them are not so poisonous that it could kill us. Just inconvenience us, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Read a lot about ones that just make you tingly.
Yeah, so some of them are not poisonous enough to actually hurt us that much, so I gathered that they just don't bother to do a lot with the poison. It just says that that people in like Colombia and Brazil eat them as part of like traditional diets, and you just need to go to somewhere that actually knows how to cook them safely.
Awesome.
Oh, like fugu.
Yeah.
Sorry. What is that again? That's the pufferfish, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It says that a lot of their dishes involves frying them, and it says this one specifically is serving them with rice and beans and accompanying it with salsa.
Ooh. That sounds delectable. It's like frying tarantula to get all the stupid hairs off. Or boiling and then freezing a peach to peel off the skin.
Yeah. Learning all sorts of handy things from you today.
Or taking seeds out from a pepper.
Yeah. I did know that one. I do that one all the time.
This also says that people who eat them as part of their diet have been telling scientists for a long time that there's a lot of health benefits to eating them, but science just hasn't really studied it. But that the only thing that science knows about it is that they have a lot of vitamin A.
Frogs?
Good.
Poison frogs?
Poison dart frogs, specifically.
Oh.
But hopefully not too much.
Yeah, eating
You
an
die.
okay amount of them. So that's a comparison between a poisonous and a non-poisonous version of the same species. So frogs and bugs are sort of the touchstone that people are aware of when it comes to like looking at animals that are brightly colored because they're poisonous and want to tell predators that.
Snake.
Yeah. So that thing is called aposematism, is what it's called. The actual like
Anti-Semitism?
no, aposematism.
Apple sentimism.
Apple cinnamon.
Cinnamon is also toxic.
Humans eat a lot of things that are toxic.
We just love it. Apostomismus. I don't feel like talking.
Aposematism is where an animal signals predators via their colors, odors, or sounds that they're dangerous for the predator to attack and eat. And the clearest example, and the one that comes to mind for a lot of people, is the poison dart frog. The frog uses its like graphic colors and patterning to warn predators that it's toxic and not to eat it. Or you could think about the wasp or the bee, and its bright colors and patterning is to tell us not to touch it because it's going to sting us. Not that it has stopped people. The ladybug is toxic. The brighter the ladybug is, the more toxic it is.
What about things that imitate these creatures to pretend?
There are 2 different types of imitation. I didn't write it down, but one of them is called Batesian imitation, and I don't remember. I think the other one is called
Norman Bates?
Yes, and the other one is called Muellerian, I think.
Because there's like the ones that pretend to be what they are for the benefit. Like there's a lot of flies that pretend to be bees.
Oh, I was right. I was right on both of those names. So, good for me for remembering the second one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so some animals evolve the ability to copy the warning signs of aposematic animals, even though they themselves are not dangerous for a predator to eat. So like a fly that is pretending to be a bee, that's called Batesian mimicry.
Uh-huh.
And the other type, Muellerian mimicry, is when 2 animals are both toxic to a predator and they both look the same. So they've like evolved to have basically the same appearance, and they are both toxic. That's called Muellerian mimicry.
If they look the same and they're both toxic, what makes them different?
They're just different animals, but they look the same.
I guess like a butterfly and a moth?
Oh, there's all these snakes that have red touch black, fronted jack, red touch yellow, kill a fella.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Batesian. Here, I've got a picture. Hold on.
There's also lots of legit ones that use the same patterning.
Even though they're both venomous?
So you've got Batesian mimic, which is, on the one side, you have the hoverfly, which looks like a bee, but it's not, it can't hurt you. And then it looks like a bee, even though it can't hurt you, and it's not toxic, and a predator can eat it. And then on the other side, you have the wasp and the bee. They can both sting you, and they would both be toxic for a predator to eat, and they look the same, which is a Muellerian mimic.
Oh, so they don't, like, look exactly the same. They just look very close to each other. Very... Okay.
Yeah. It's like a type of evolution where they have weird, even though they're not the same animal, have just very weirdly evolved to have the same signaling and the same colors and the same patterning, even though they're different animals.
Like if you showed an alien a dolphin and a shark, you would say, one will kill you because it's hungry and thinks you're food, the other will kill you because it knows you're not. Sorry. It's the dolphin.
Yeah.
It is the dolphin.
And they're like, what?
What?
Yeah.
Sharks, they're just like, what is this? Oh, that's not food.
Yeah. Ladybugs and ants and stuff that are like bright red, we humans can learn that those things are toxic without anybody telling us because we want to avoid them also. Like if you squish a ladybug, those things stink so bad.
Stink bugs too. Mm-hmm. It's the worst.
Or like red ants smell when you squished those. If you picked one up and ate them, I bet they'd taste pretty bad too. If you like, I know people eat ants, but without any sort of preparation at all to be able to eat them. I bet if you just
They're bitter.
picked an ant up and ate it, yeah, bitter. Yeah.
They're really bitter. Oh, it's disgusting. Oh,
You picked an ant up off the ground and ate it?
yes.
Ew.
That's terrible.
As a child, I've eaten so many bugs. And as an adult, I've eaten more bugs. We have video evidence of this.
So predators learn these lessons about bright-colored animals, like the ladybugs and the ants, through a process called learned avoidance. You might think that the bright colors would attract predators as it makes them more noticeable. When insects are in groups with obvious movements, it is at no extra cost to the insect to display these colors. This means that it doesn't negatively impact them. Other animals are more likely to notice the insects that have bright colors, however, they're less likely to attack them. But like over thousands and thousands of years, while these things are evolving, before predators knew that the bright colors equaled, this will hurt me. How did the bright colors survive through the evolutionary process, you might wonder?
Mating attractiveness?
Well, that's what worked with birds, certainly. Karen, you said you had an
It's
answer.
all I got.
And then what was your thing that you wanted to say? What's your answer?
Oh, yeah. My thing was, like, yeah, sometimes it's about being poisonous, other times it's about getting it on and strutting your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, with birds, 100%, a lot of it is about getting it on and strutting your stuff.
And lizards. Let's see. Mostly it's a bird thing. I mean, when you think about it, most of the time it's a bird, because they all do those fun dances too. Oh, lions. It's not like a brightly colored thing. It's just that they've noticed that lionesses prefer lions with darker manes. The darker the better is how lionesses see it.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Remy had more points on this, so go ahead.
I don't actually have a whole lot of stuff about mating written down.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is a fringe-toed lizard.
Are these the guys where some of the males pretend to be females?
No, I think that it said something about the females are the ones that actually change colors to get males' attention. This article from UCR, which is UC Riverside, University of California, Riverside. This article says some lizards have this color trick employed by the females. Mating in lizards can be a lengthy affair, with the male trying to convince the female that he has the right stuff. This can involve displaying his color patterns to their maximum effect, doing push-ups, showing his ventral colors, and fighting with males, but also include male-female chasing and wrestling. This is how I got guys when I was a kid, was I would chase them. They did not like it.
Are these the ones with the yellow and blue bellies?
Yeah!
I know these.
Yeah. Such behaviors require the full attention of each participant, which means that they are not being vigilant to avoid predators. Not a good strategy to avoid being eaten. To limit the mating game to what is necessary, females of some lizard species produce hormonally induced color changes that indicate that they are carrying eggs, or that they are gravid. Gravid? I don't know. Gravid. These colors are typically vivid reds or oranges, displaying especially around their faces, flanks, but sometimes across their backs as well. And the message to males is that no amount of courtship can make them more gravid, so do not bother trying. I like this writer. It said, at least in my experiences, the males heed this message. So, what? That's cute. They've seen male fringe-toed lizards race up to a gravid female only to dejectedly walk away. No chasing, no harassment.
I like, oh, man, not again.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so they're saying you would think that the changing of their colors to red would put them in a more precarious position with being spotted by predators, but based on their environments, a lot of predators don't actually see the color red. So it's a color that is perceived by the ones they're trying to attract, but the other predators can't see it at all. That's wild. I love it. Okay, so there's an example in lizards. We've already talked about the lions, and so that's our mammalian example. Birds, obvious. There's so many birds. I think it's common with fish. For fish, I think a lot of the times the color is for camouflage reasons. Kind of like with tigers and okapis and zebras.
Oh yeah. The red bioluminescence does not appear for most underwater, like, deep sea creatures. So
frogs, I mean, theirs are primarily for warding off predators. And they're saying that the difference between them is based on their environment. So, like, for frogs, the color of their skin is not necessarily for courtship, but is to ward predators, whereas for these lizards, their color and color changing is strictly for courtship and not for warding off predators, of course. So the difference in the two being that they're in different environments. So that's to explain why. Yeah. That's all I got.
Thanks for covering the gap in my notes.
Hooray!
you did it!
Do.
You did it!
You did it! Yeah!
Yeah!
So, other than for mating purposes, like, the reason that this has managed to survive is largely just because it wasn't noticed. Scientists from Carleton University in Canada and Seoul National University in South Korea, like, have finally provided the answer, which is, like, it's a very uneventful answer, which is just that originally the color was probably only visible while the animal was running away.
I see.
Or that the animal would have to intentionally display the colors, and the rest of the time it was hidden. And I was like, well, that makes total sense. Don't know why it's taken you guys so long to come up with this answer.
Hey, science takes time.
I know, but still. They came to this conclusion by testing something like 1,400 amphibians or some such, known to have aposematism, known to have this thing, and found that this is just likely how it managed to survive.
Wow.
Yeah. They took, like, poison dart frogs and stuff like that, who are on the far end, where they're just, like, super brightly colored all the time. And then on the other far end, took things like the Vietnamese mossy toad or whatever that looks like it's just a big clump of moss when it's not moving. And then they took the ones that are in the middle that are just like a normal color on top, but on the bottom side, they're like bright orange and speckled. The ones where if they're running away, you'll see it. Or if they are flipped over on their backside, you'll see it when they display it to you. And then they just ran some tests. And so they came to the conclusions that that's how it came about.
Interesting.
What tests were they running?
You know, I read 2 different articles about this, and without reading the actual journal entry about the tests, I wasn't going to figure it out, because the articles didn't mention it. It just says they ran tests. And I was like, I'm not going to go read an academic journal about this. I want to get to the rest of my notes. So,
got it.
In there.
Yeah. And the gene that makes an animal like the poison dart frog colored all the time is just a mutation. And initially, these scientists said that the frogs would have been really noticeable. Predators would have eaten them anyway because they wouldn't have known not to do it and would have gotten sick and died. And then the other predators would have said, "I don't want to eat those guys," and then would have stopped eating them. And so the gene would have just, through reproduction, continued to evolve until now all the poison dart frogs are colorful like that.
Sweet.
Okay.
Well, not sweet, but, slightly citrusy.
I was gonna say lemony.
And then mammals can have aposematism as well, but it's not the same for mammals. And I can only even think of one mammal that's venomous. Just one.
The platypus?
And it's the platypus, yeah.
The platypus. Perry the platypus!
Make the noise. Go on, do it. Lead us on this journey, Remy.
Oh, yeah. I literally just thought I should probably go maybe look up a list of venomous mammals. So...
I only know the platypus off the top of my head.
Yeah, I only know the platypus, too. Yeah. Karen, do you know anything that's not the platypus?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
I think it's the Soloris.
Oh!
Mm-hmm. And, let's see. Oh, vampire bats.
They're not venomous.
It's, okay, I looked it up. The feeding secretions of hematophagus, or blood-eating specialists, as a particular subtype of venom. So.
Well, I guess.
Yeah, in order to break down, your skin to get to.
I thought it was an anticoagulant. Kind of like leeches and ticks, they have that in their saliva.
Let's see. It says, these bats produce toxic saliva with anticoagulant properties and have a series of anatomical and physiological adaptations to allow nourishment solely based on blood. They're saying that the anticoagulant is a venom.
Ooh, I hate that. Because, yes, I could see the logic in that, but man, I want to disagree.
I know. Yeah. It also, okay, so the slow loris is, are accepted as the only known venomous primate. Slow loris venom was known in folklore in their host countries throughout Southeast Asia for centuries, but dismissed by Western science until, do you want to guess when?
The 1990s?
The 1990s!
It's not because I also pulled it up at all.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so the slow loris. Yeah. It, where does it come from? It's a malodorous fluid forming in the apocrine sweat gland in the animal's forearm. That's right. I remember hearing about this. I don't remember where I heard it. I want to say Most Extreme on Animal Planet.
I love that show. Me too. They just take it so seriously, and I love every second.
I'm wondering why they have this, though. I forget why, so let me read it a little more.
Is it to protect them from fucking people? Oh!
Well, what I'm confused about is why they're saying it's venomous. If it's to protect them, it would be a poison, right?
Venom
goes into,
and poisonous
comes out of.
Well,
or you bite me.
Venom is getting bitten. Poison is you doing the biting.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so if I'm venomous, I bite you, you get hurt.
Yes.
Poisonous is you bite me, you get hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't understand why they're saying it's venomous. because it's on their forearm.
That would be like maybe a both situation, but like venom is to be inflicted on other creatures.
Mm-hmm. Oh! Wait. Hold on. Oh! It's for courtship!
Wait, what?
Okay. The venom is administered through, basically, what they have on their forearm is a, like, weird, they called it an adapted tooth comb on their forearm. Yeah, so whenever two slow lorises are fighting for mates, food or territory, they inflict a wound, the venom comes out through the tooth comb.
Oh.
And causes it says, slow loris inflicted wounds are a major cause of premature death in zoo and wildlife slow loris populations. Because it's a festering and necrotic wound.
Wow, imagine if they used that for warfare.
Yeah! Well, they do in the slow loris wars. You weren't there, man.
Imagine getting shanked by a slow loris.
Imagine.
They're so slow. And
like,
loris.
They always fight in slow motion. It's so cute.
I love how we got here from
Redheads. Yeah.
Remy?
Yes?
We're ready for you.
Okay. Yeah, so I looked it up also as I was asking you guys. And you guys were talking about the slow loris and stuff. And vampire bats. Which I don't know if I agree with the vampire bats. Because it's on the list that I was looking at too. But it just talks about how their saliva is an anticoagulant. And that should count as a venom. Because it doesn't let your blood coagulate while it drinks your blood. And I don't know that should count.
Well, I think that the way that it counts is because it is forcing your body to do something that your body wouldn't do normally.
Well, yeah.
That's a good argument.
Well, yeah, but the venom isn't, like, hurting. It's not hurting. Like, it's not paralyzing or damaging in any way. It just doesn't coagulate your blood for 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, but your blood would normally coagulate. So it's using the anticoagulant as a means of producing more food for itself. So it's harming you by causing your blood not to do what it's supposed to do. And that's causing you harm in that you are losing more blood. It's not like, ouch, that really hurts. It's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. It's like Toxic X, if you will. It's like, yeah, I'm not like, it's not hurting me. They're not hurting me. They're just slowly draining my bank account.
See, you make a good, valid argument.
I know. It's not sexy. It's definitely not goo that
could kill you when you look at it weird.
And like has like a weird long tongue that makes you feel like, I'm supposed to be really grossed out by this, but also like
you sound like you're into it.
Venom.
Oh, like the guy.
Like the guy.
Okay.
Yes. I'm
just over here like, wait, this sounds specific.
Yeah, so, because I'm looking at, like, the National Institute of Health says that venom proteins that affect blood coagulation can functionally be classified as procoagulant or anticoagulant proteins on the basis of their ability to shorten or prolong the blood clotting process. But they classify it as part of the venom of like snakes and things, not as venom by itself, but just part of venom.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'll like make your blood not coagulate, which in the process of while the venom is doing other stuff to make the venom more effective. And the vampire bat is just using it to make sure that the holes that it puts in you don't close up for, according to the list that I was looking at, the 4 species of vampire bat that are on here, about 30 minutes. But then when it stops eating off of you, it just, you start coagulating again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that doesn't count for me.
I get it. I get why.
Last. It doesn't hurt you for longer than the time that the vampire bat is doing things to you.
Yeah, I think that, yeah. I mean, for me, it's like venomy enough that I get it, but I think I like better their explanation that it's like a part of venom, but it should not be venom itself.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a fair compromise.
I don't know, maybe if it stole your lunch money while it was at it, like, come on.
So, there's like 4 different species of vampire bats that are on this list that I was looking at. And then also something called the solenodons, which, did you mention that?
No.
Yeah, so they have long noses and small feet with sharp claws, and they're found in different parts of the world, and it says some think that they look like lemurs, and that scientists aren't sure how long the animals can live because they've only observed them in captivity.
Honestly, this sounds like everything I'm looking for in a man.
So, there's several species of them on the list. They seem to mostly live like in Cuba and other like places like Cuba. And it says that their venom comes from their saliva, and that the saliva stuns prey and causes pain to humans. Their saliva will cause like paralysis in the small mammals that these things eat.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's what I call a venom.
Yeah.
That's what I call venom.
And then moles are also apparently venomous.
¿Por qué?
Yeah, it says
How?
It says the European mole, its saliva is venomous. It says that they don't really attack humans because they're antisocial.
Cute.
So am I.
Yeah. And
I
it
get
says,
that.
but if you antagonize them, they will bite you, and that if they do bite you, then they can inject their saliva into you.
Could you argue that a cat is venomous? Sorry.
It says the saliva paralyzes the victim and gives the mole time to eat it.
Ooh. Ooh.
It says European moles will paralyze their victims and bring those animals back to their homes where they can slowly eat them over the winter.
Jesus.
Oh, aren't there wasps that do that too?
Probably. Wasps are terrible.
Wasps are the worst.
Yeah, there's ones that like paralyze caterpillars and shit like that, and then like bury them alive with their eggs inside of them. So
Yeah.
when the eggs hatch, they eat the thing that's been fucked up and zombified.
Apparently shrews are also venomous.
Oh, I've held a shrew.
Yeah, so the shrews are venomous through their bites, like a bunch
Wow.
of them are. It says that they don't produce toxic effects in humans, though.
Well, that's good.
It says you'll likely feel
Oh, that's
intense
good.
pain and notice swelling around the bite, but that you'll be fine. But that to the things that shrews eat, like fish and stuff, then their venom is deadly. It says it produces enough venom to completely kill a fish in mere minutes.
I had no idea. Shit.
Yeah. The shrew produces a toxin that acts as venom through its salivary glands. The toxin is strong enough to paralyze animals the same size as and slightly larger than the shrew.
Damn.
Yeah.
Glad I'm bigger than a shrew.
Yeah. And the ones that live down here in the south of the United States, the southern short-tailed shrews, are also venomous.
Okay, well, fuck me.
Yeah. And these ones say that they cause more pain than the other ones that I've been reading about. It says the southern short-tailed shrews can paralyze other animals and cause significant pain to humans who receive a bite. Some of the natural predators of this shrew include foxes, owls, skunks, and some types of snakes. So their venom has to be enough to do something about, like, a fox.
Damn.
And there's a type of shrew in the central United States, which is where you guys are at now, and those are also venomous.
Cute.
Of course.
I want to play with a venomous shrew. That isn't me.
But these ones produce like a very unpleasant odor, so you wouldn't want to mess with them anyway. It says the odor is also a form of aposematism, and so that's their way of making humans and other stuff that's big leave them alone, but they produce a venom in their saliva to be able to deal with things that they want to eat.
Damn.
I had no idea that shrews were venomous.
Neither. There's a lot more venomous animals, like mammals, I should say, than I anticipated.
Yeah. Of course, the platypus and the slow loris, which Karen just read to us about. And the slow loris has necrotic stuff, so that's terrible.
Yeah.
The maned rat, those live in Africa. It says type of venom, hair and poison.
Hair is poisonous?
Yeah. It says this type of rat searches the wild for poison arrow trees and chews on the tree to release a type of liquid, and then it rubs the liquid all across its hair.
Ooh.
Oh.
And so then when it gets attacked, it will intentionally cram those poisoned hairs that's on its back into the animal's mouth.
Ew.
Gross.
Valid, but ew.
Apparently when hedgehogs live in the wild, they do the same things, apparently.
Well, fuck me sideways.
Yeah, so don't pick up wild hedgehogs.
Well, I wasn't gonna, but now I'm, like, definitely, like,
Not happening.
Yeah, because I see people on, like, TikTok and stuff picking them up when they find them in their garden, but now I know that hedgehogs will intentionally poison their own spikes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
They're like, don't touch me, bitch. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
It's bigger than me.
It says that hedgehogs in the wild will find poisonous toads, and they will lick the poisonous toads and also chew the skin of the poisonous toads, and then will spread the poison from the toads all over their spikes.
Oh my god.
So then when something bothers it and attacks it, or if they feel threatened, they will roll up into a ball, and then you'll get poisoned by the spikes that it is now pointing at you.
Damn.
So that's clever, and I didn't know they did that. That's a little unsettling.
A little? A lot. That is a lot of unsettling.
So, a lot more mammals than I knew about were venomous, but even so, among those, only the slow loris is brightly colored. It's kind of an orangey color.
Mm-hmm.
So, mammals don't tend to broadcast that they're poisonous or venomous. What you see about for aposematism in animals is like skunks and honey badgers are brightly like striped white and black in like these graphic patterns. And so that like bold graphic patterning is meant to warn predators of their ability to like spray noxious chemicals, or that they're highly aggressive and will absolutely rip you to shreds in the case of the honey badger.
Honey badger don't play. Honey badger don't care.
And then with mammals also, you get things like the tiger, which is like bright orange and black. And you look at that and you think that that's not hiding, but also they're very well camouflaged for their natural environment.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I've watched some videos now that says that the things that they hunt can't even see the color orange, which is why it works as camouflage in their natural environment. And I was like, it's crazy that evolution could do that.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Things just kind of work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I wanted to know why, like, mammals don't generally evolve bright colors like other animals do. And so I just wrote down some paraphrased quotes from a couple of people who are experts in the subject. And I'm just going to put the website that has all of these, like, full quotes up on the resource page. But it was easier to just get what these guys had to say about it, because this is what they do for a job.
Yeah.
So, like, this guy, Matthew Toomey, who's an assistant professor of biological science at the University of Tulsa, he says that he wants us to, like, look back at the world where mammals first evolved into while we are approaching this subject. So, What he said was that this was a world dominated by dinosaurs that were most likely active during the day and had excellent color vision like modern birds do, because birds have far superior color vision than what humans and other mammals have.
Mm-hmm.
Many of these dinosaurs were predators and would have been a major threat to the smaller and defenseless early mammals. And so in response to that threat, it looks like early mammals evolved bland coloration and a tendency toward a nocturnal underground life back during our early days. Not humans hour, but mammal hour.
Mm-hmm.
So living that kind of a life, mammalian color vision just sort of went away, and smell and hearing took priority.
Wow.
Yeah. Dr. Toomey calls this the nocturnal bottleneck for mammals, and he says that because that happened, you can see the effect that it had on mammals from today. Most living mammal species perceive color with just two types of photoreceptors, tuned to sense blue or red, and most mammals have limited ability to discriminate color because of that, and many hyper-vivid hues would not be discerned by them, and in contrast, birds have color vision that involves 4 different photoreceptor types sensitive to ultraviolet, blue, green, or red portions of the spectrum, which allows them a much finer discrimination of the colors they use to attract and intimidate one another.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have the rods and the cones, we have the 2 different ones, and birds are called tetrachromats.
Tetrachromats.
So birds can see sub-red and ultraviolet.
Wow. That's so wild.
It is. I watched a really interesting video too that says nowadays, with the technology that we have, we know now that flowers, there's a whole spectrum that we can't see, but if you watch the world through ultraviolet, bees see the world in the ultraviolet spectrum, and so if you watch the world in an ultraviolet camera and see what a bee sees, flowers don't even look the way that they look to us. Bees are seeing all these patterns and colors on flowers that we can't see that are signaling to the bee, this one's good to go, basically.
Whoa.
Or I've seen the post on Facebook that says why don't humans have stripes? I want stripes. Why are humans so boring? But humans...
I thought we did have stripes.
Yeah, humans have colorations that we can't even see on our own bodies because we can only see from those 2 color receptors.
That must be why sometimes you meet someone and you're just kind of I don't like the vibe. I get a weird vibe from you. It must be my ultraviolet. I can't see it, but my brain is picking it up.
Serial killer colorization.
Yeah. Or sexual harasser. Yeah.
You could see the sins. It's only in ultraviolet.
Only in ultraviolet, yeah.
And so, also, Dr. Toomey says that early mammals' lack of use for color is likely what resulted in us not having colorful bodies like other types of animals. We didn't just lose our color vision, but the extra pigments that animals like birds and reptiles have available to them. So they get all these different kinds of pigments that we don't have because we just have melanin. We have 2 types of melanin that are responsible for different shades of our hair and our skin. One type produces the dark colors and one type produces the lighter colors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's all we have is just melanin. But birds have a host of different pigments.
Man, I want some of those.
Yeah, and even then, other animals use melanin in different ways than we do, in this complex optical nanostructures that are created in their feathers and scales that allow them to use melanin to create iridescence in those things. And we just use it to make black, brown, and auburn.
I want more.
Yeah. So then somebody named Jeff Hill, who's a professor and curator of birds at Auburn University, said about humans that we are, quote, atypical mammals. He talks about how most mammals are nocturnal, or they live in an in-between space between crepuscular, that's the word, between day and night. Humans generally don't do that. Now me, I'm an atypical human, and I have been living almost primarily a nocturnal life for the last 7 years.
That's true.
Most people don't do that, but most mammals are operating still in a nocturnal capacity, and humans are atypical to most mammals in that humans live in the day. And he wanted you to look at dogs and cats, because that's what most people have in their house for pets, as an example of how most mammals are operating. They spend a lot of time like smelling the world around them and associate you with your smell. Like dogs have pretty good vision, but like cats have pretty poor vision, which is why they're like poking things with their nose and touching things with their paws before they come close to it. They can't see things very well from far away. Humans, even mammals in general, have poor vision in comparison to other animals. And then, yeah, most mammals don't even have the full color vision like humans do. And we have poor color vision in comparison to most other animals. So humans have 3-dimensional vision, which is why we put 3 colors in the printer. Dogs, cows, most other mammals have 2-dimensional vision.
Which is why they only put 2 colors in the printer.
Exactly. They don't have to worry about cyan.
So much.
So much. Missing
depth.
So much.
So they don't see colors like we do at all. And so what this means is that they don't display very often with color. What all of it means is that, where we do see some colors are in primates. So like apes like mandrills are among the most colorful animals. Like they have like that.
Blue faces and red asses.
Yeah. So it's basically it. Mammals are more prone to smell, and humans and birds are more prone to look. And even then, so like with the mandrills and stuff, the blue isn't actually a pigment.
What?
What? Is it? What? How?
So the blue that you see on mammals isn't a pigment. It's a like an optical effect that you're seeing. It's like just light bouncing off their skin in a certain way.
Oh, kind of like how the ocean looks blue, even though there's not really color in it.
Yeah, the reason that a mammal's skin can look blue, that blue isn't pigment. They're not pigmented. They don't have extra pigment in them. They still only have the melanin. They have the blue because they're having an optical effect happening there. Like the sky looks blue, not because the sky is blue, but because it's reflecting light in a certain way to where we're seeing blue wavelengths of light when we look at it.
Mandrills are scary.
Yeah,
They are. They terrify me.
Yeah.
Other primates scare me, and I would never want to be locked in a room with any other kind of primate, unless it's a human. Because right now I am locked in a room with another primate.
We're not locked in. You can leave anytime. I'm sorry. It sounded scarier than I intended it to.
Wow.
Like, if you showed a picture of a mandrill to an alien, it would be like, that's not right. Is this your god? And then we would say, I mean, no, but also...
But pretty close.
Mm-hmm. We do fear it.
Yeah, they're really scary. They're the largest monkey.
So they are a monkey.
Yeah.
They got a teeny tiny tail.
And the red that they have also, because they have the red butts and they have the red on their face, but that's also not a pigment. It's blood.
No! I hate that. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
It just scares me.
Yeah, the red coloration on their face and on their butt is caused by blood vessels being close to the surface of their skin. And then the blue, I looked it up to make sure I could actually say what it was just now. The blue is caused by a parallel arrangement of collagen fibers.
So I could be blue.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's obligatory.
They're the only, they're basically the only ones really amongst primates are basically the only ones amongst the mammals who really get colorful. And then finally, like, Inez Cuthill, professor of behavioral ecology at the University of Bristol, she just brings the structure of fur and hair into the equation. She says that hair is just really unstructured. Our hair is just a tube of melanin, quote. But like feathers and like a butterfly's wing, scales, those things are really complex, multi-layered structures, and so they can like really build up their various like forms to be able to actually do what it needs to do to have those bright colors in them. So if humans develop bland colors because of those situations laid out a minute ago, why did we evolve red hair? Because it's definitely a standout color and it's very rare. I said 2% of the world population has red hair. So why does 2% of the world population have red hair, which is a very obvious bright color, if we're supposed to have bland colors because we're hiding from dinosaurs?
Because it's cool.
That's true, it is cool.
It's a mutation.
I mean, sure, yeah, obviously. Anything evolutionary-wise was a mutation at some point. Why did it stick around all this time? And so that's the second part that I wanted to talk about. Because history has dealt a very mixed hand to the redhead. And the question, so are redheads toxic because they have red hair, really just plays right off of a whole long history of very rough treatment of the redhead. And that's what we're going to talk about next.
Wow.
Shall I close it up?
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you especially to Billy for coming in with such a rad question. We've been recording for fucking ever. I think this might be a 2-parter even. Could be. But for everybody else, make sure you remember that you can also send us your why would you ask that kind of questions. So you could hit our website with whywouldyouskthat.com, where we have a form there. You just fill it in, put your name in, put your question in, and it's done. Or you can email us at whywouldyouskthatpod@gmail.com. Again, that is whywouldyouskthatpod@gmail.com. And, if you enjoyed this episode, give us a little acknowledgement on whatever you're listening to, like a thumbs up, some stars, maybe a comment or something. Anything to show that you listened and you had a good time. And with that, I hope y'all have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.